And hello and welcome back. It is time to go into our latter two matches here of the evening. I'm Achilles alongside Avril. We'll be guiding you guys through our next two matches. Already some fun stuff, having the contender teams into the mix. We still walk away with the Soul Dynasty coming up with a W. Now we get ready to go into our next matchup here, and this should be a very interesting clash of two fairly well-known orgs.
I was going to say as well, this is your first time casting anything adjacent to Contender's career in how many years, Achilles? It's been a long time.
Since the Gauntlet, I suppose, would be the last time.
True. I was going to say, like, you were officially on Contenders in 2018, but you did do Gauntlet. So 2019. And O2 wasn't at Gauntlet, but O2 did exist in 2018, but they were, I think, O2 Ardent back in the day.
Right.
So I don't know what kind of memories you have about O2, but you're about to see 2023 O2.
Yeah, and something tells me that it's going to be vastly improved compared to what I was casting back then, because also just meta differences, level of skill has gone up considerably across the board since then. So I think it's going to be a very different look. But that was still an O2 Ardent that did have some surprises back in the day that I can recall. And I believe they also made it to that first season of Contenders Grand Finals versus X6, and then ended up losing it. But anyway, we're going to focus in and see how they do fare against another very aged and storied name in Contenders and in Overwatch in general, with Panthera.
Panthera, I think, are one of the clear standouts coming through from the Contenders Korean region this time around. It's basically this team, O2 Blast, and Pokerface, the three big giants from Contenders Korea you got to pay attention to. Pokerface is in a really interesting spot because they haven't played anybody from the other group, and the people that didn't follow Contenders Korea this season, they split 10 teams across two groups to qualify into basically the open and the knockout that we are in now. And across those two groups, they never played each other. So O2 never played Pokerface, Panthera never played Pokerface, and Simpreza never played those two teams either. And now you see Panthera face up against O2 Blast again, two teams that were in the same group in Contenders that have replayed, and the only team to take O2 Blast to a map 5. In fact, they required O2 Blast to reverse sweep. This Panthera squad put O2 Blast to the sword 2-0 up, and O2 Blast is a reverse sweep Panthera to make that comeback happen.
And obviously plenty of names here that are going to be familiar to long-time viewers. Fate in particular, definitely going to be one of the standout names, but you also have Nice, you've got Becky, and then Slay and Youngjin, who are going to be two players that are a little bit after my era in Contenders, but a lot of these guys were in OWL, you know, as well as getting their starts in Contenders when I was casting this, you know, way back now 5 years ago at the beginning. So it's good to see these familiar faces. We'll see how they're going to be faring as they get ready to go up against O2.
Fun fact about Slay, and I bring this up every single time I get a player like this, he actually started his Contenders journey, not in Korea, but in Contenders Australia, home of the Mac, is because he debuted there. I'm claiming him. I'm going to claim him as an Australian Contenders player because Honeypot didn't make it through the knockouts. They lost to Dreamers. They lost to Simpreza. But various individual members, Opener as well. Opener also played in Contenders Australia. I'm also claiming him. So both supports, you got a flex support and a main support. They both started there. Opener already played on Washington Justice, so just like Panthera, you have a slew, a large quantity of ex-Overwatch League players here. Irony was on Hangzhou Spark. Marvel played for Valiant. He also started on Boston early last year before he switched teams. And on the other end, you have, you know, the two non-Overwatch League, ex-Overwatch League, I should play players in Knife and Probe, where Probe has actually been with his O2 Blast roster for a long time. This guy was even playing on O2 Blast in Proper's era, and that was in, how many years ago was that? That was 2020... 2021 was Proper's last year, I believe, because he was a rookie last year. So 2020, 2021, Probe was on the team. But he was benched like the whole time. He never really got to play because he was behind Kilo, he was behind Proper, he was behind Merit, he was behind all the other starters of O2 Blast that eventually made the Overwatch League. And now that they're all gone, Probe's taken the forefront. He's now the starting hit scan player for this O2 team.
It's his time to shine. We'll see if he's going to be able to shine bright enough to open up Andy Miller's wallet a little bit wider. Maybe he'll get a late addition to the squad. But obviously, you know, high expectations given that he's been on this team. We know what kind of talent O2 Blast has been able to churn out over the years. Very much, you know, following in the footsteps of Runaway, who were kind of the first ones to really start having excellent scouting, and O2's kind of taken that mantle and run with it. So the fact that he is still here means that there's still a lot of faith from the organization in his performance, and that should be backed by ability. So looking forward to seeing these two teams clash. And also, always happy to see Marvel. I mean, you listen off a couple teams that we have seen him on in the past. Another one, of course, going to be on the Dynasty right there. So has been around the block. Now finds himself here with O2 Blast.
You have to excuse me, I do a little bit of counting, but O2 Blast currently are sitting on a ridiculous win record. I'm just going to really quickly, I should have counted while you were speaking, but I'm just going to go through it now. 20, I believe it's 30. I might have to do a recount, but my extremely quick count says it's about 30. It's a lot. I'll count it properly when you talk it. Why don't you just talk right now? So okay, but it's a lot. It's basically what I'm trying to say is this team has not lost a match in contenders since, I'll give you the date since that's something I can accurately do.
Sure.
2020, April 22nd, 2022 was the last time O2 Blast lost a series. That was the last time.
That's a good long while. That's over a year ago. So yeah, whatever imaginary number you want to plug in there, it doesn't really matter because it's still an incredibly impressive figure. As
30.
For a second,
it is 30.
I thought Becky's
30.
camera just completely flipped over, and yeah, 30 wins. Okay, yeah, those
Since
are streaks
April
that you,
last year.
Those are streaks that you do not see typically in any esport as far as dominance is concerned. Not dropping a series, the closest that I can really think of, I guess there's one Valorant, but otherwise it's the inverse from the Shanghai Dragons.
Yep.
So they're on their road. They're looking for that 40-0 rather than the 0-40.
So the only two games that even came close to O2 Blast losing in any sort of recent history was versus Panthera in the Spring Series Contenders season that's just been. And that was a reverse sweep that O2 Blast had to come back. So that was actually a reasonably close game, which is why I'm excited about this one. Right. And I think the Panthera squad's even leveled up because I got Fate on the roster. Not that I don't think Belosri is any good, but Fate is legendary. So I have high expectations here for Fate on this team. Beyond that, there was the O2 game in the Pacific Showdown last year versus SPG that went to 3-2 as well before the finals, which was in a 4-0 versus SPG. But aside from that, I mean, it's a lot of 3-0s, there's a lot of 4-0s, single 3-1 versus SLT. You got a 4-2 finals versus T1 as well. Back when T1 had a contender squad, which a lot of current contenders players, the good ones, actually did come from T1. So essentially what I'm saying is, man, this O2 squad is a 30-win streak. Doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. It might end in this knockout finally when they go up against a team like Infernal. Maybe it'll end here. Maybe Panthera can finally give them the first loss in 30 matches.
All right. Well, it would be a monumentous occasion if they could do so. First, they're going to have to try to get through, I believe, O2's selection of Lijiang Tower. Get confirmation on that. But either way, it is, of course, going to be losers selects from there on out as we move through this best-of-5 series. So, not sure where we're going to be going. We saw, Kings Row in the last map, moved over onto Rialto as well to round things out from the side of the Dynasty. We're able to get that victory. Let's see it, though, how Panthera fares and whether or not they can take down these Titans that are O2 Blast.
And O2 and Panthera, those strangers to this venue. Either they're not playing in venue today, but Contenders Korea in the past year or so has had plenty of live matches in the WDG studio, the arena. So once again, they'll be playing online, but with the broadcast still there to try and make their way into the Overwatch League. And we'll see if either of these teams can do it. They would have to go through Overwatch League teams to get there. Infernal is in this side of the bracket. Out the gate, we're going to have Fate on the Winston, Marvel on the Ramatra here. Probe starting out on a Soldier, which is a little bit unusual for this type of composition. Usually you'd expect more like a Sojourn instead.
Yeah, given the flavors that we've been seeing so far in the Overwatch League, it definitely is a bit of a breath of fresh air, let's call it, as Knife is going to be taken down, but not before Fate falls to Marvel. So the Ramatra drawing that first blood. Probe now trying to really get a bead on Becky, but he takes back up to the skies. Probe just going to tuck away here onto the site already, though. Knife is just going to be swapping over onto the Tracer. Point unlocked. First cap going to be coming through. That's going to be OT in control. Is nice there for a moment. Having to jump back.
Good kill by Knife. Straight away coming back on the Tracer. Already finding some impact. And the point alive as well with the 5 versus 4 there. Obviously, it seems likely that O2 Blast considered that Panthera was going to roll out on a Brawl composition. That's why Knife started on the Mei. If it was a Brawl mirror, the Mei would have been really good there. But you're up against a dive. Tracer makes way more sense, especially on a control. Irony follows up with the second kill here for O2.
Yeah, and that just completely cuts this push over towards the point now in half. Can't really proceed forward, and Youngjin's actually just gonna forego everything he was building up towards the rally, swaps over to Lucio to at least be able to match. Knife in the meantime does get the better of Becky, takes him down with a melee hit, and the rest of the team just backpedaling as much as humanly possible. Probe going low, grabs the Mega Pack, joins in with the rest of the healers, and that is just gonna be shoving forward all the way up towards the dropship now. Fate struggling, trying to leap out, when he get cut down, and this is looking like a bit of a wash here. O2 Blast completely and utterly in control.
And Probe making the most out of the soldier pick here as well. Now that Becky's no longer on the Echo soldier, he's not going to find as much value, but still doing a decent amount of damage here. Marvel popping the Annihilation. Great charge time on that. So quick to find that ultimate. Marvel having another Renaissance here. I felt last year on the Valiant, he was already kind of making that comeback happen, and now on O2, he might just secure it.
Falling low, will get taken down. Fate able to confirm the kill off the back of the EMP. Probe Nano does have that tack visor, but with no supports, and slow as he is, just wisely going to have to hold on to this one. Still though, point has not been surrendered. Irony going to be swapping over to the Kira code, looking to join back in. Probe still just waiting patiently. Drops down
Marvel?
healing, and Marvel, he brings out the big guns. Nice, going to be taken out of the fight. Now the tack visor is in. Fate with the primal, batting him around, takes him down 4 HP, and eventually Becky's able to find the headshot to finish the job. Point, however, still in control of OT Blast and approaching 99%. They need to get this right now. Fate, however, still getting chunked lower and lower.
Opener's got bait.
Marvel getting taken low. Nearly has that next Annihilation. Now they have the sound barrier. Opener's going to drop that beat. Manages to get the shielding out on a forest. Probe looks to rejoin. Youngjun dead. Slate out of the Fate. Fate now taken down. And that is going to be 100% to 0 coming through as Becky. He will be able to grab the health pack, but there is no survival for him. Very bold statement here set as O2 Blast take the first round. Gardens is theirs.
Speaking of 100 to 0 there's 0 deaths for Marvel, so he cleans up deathless on the Ramatra, doesn't die at all. Also, the kill leader in the lobby currently sitting at 6 final blows on this Ram. Super fast ult charge. That first Annihilation timing was insane. So, yeah, he's having a field day at the moment. And this is what I expect out of Marvel. You know, I remember back in the day, he was one of the first players to pick up that Sigma, even as a main tank player. Now, on the Ramatra here as well, as we take a look at the replay, this is where Probe got a decent amount of damage done, but that was also when the Annihilation ran through from Marvel to force Panthera back. What I'd like to see here is, as we move to the control center map, obviously it's far more favorable for Brawl type compositions. Fate, with his main tank background, is going to opt over towards Orion, and this time Knife coming out on the May, he'll get the mirror he was looking for.
Pushing forward, wall goes up. Going to zone them back is nice to stick with that Symmetra. Have some good beam power to try to take down that Ramatra, give Marvel his first death. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it. For now, Pro taking lower and lower, goes leaping away. Wall comes up for a little bit there, but then Becky eventually will be able to find the kill. Into the ice block he goes as the punches are just coming across. Marvel desperately trying to break somebody down. It's going to be Fate actually who ends up falling. Finding the elimination, keeping O2 Blast in a solid forward position, but tries to get around the backhand side for a little bit more value. Knife will fall, but then Marvel gets in close, finds one. Becky going to be taken down as he's just punching away, and what we're talking about is ult timings. That Annihilation just 19% away as finally the point can be capped, and it seems it's going to be O2 Blast once again establishing control first.
He's just doing so much. He's, again, still hasn't died so far. You know, credit to Open and Irony for keeping him up. He's about to find Annihilation again. Watch him just walk foot. He's going to pop it now. Yeah, why not? Go for it.
He's just in there. Immortality field's going to be forced. Becky going lower and lower. Can't quite clear the field with relative ease, but eventually it will expire, and they are just completely locked out. They have to back away from this chokehold just to allow that Annihilation to expire. And Marvel's still playing forward. Now he's going to
Big nade as well.
He's 40%. The next one. Youngjun now going to be taken down. Probe with the Storm Arrows finds the kill, pushes over, catches nice as they TP across the opposite side. Fate falls, and blink and you miss it. Marvel, he's basically got another ult. 62%, 32% established for O2 Blast, and there's not really any end in sight because Fate has only got 50% of the shatter.
Everybody just throw your resources into Marvel, give him the nanos, give him everything, pocket heal him as much as possible. He's doing it all. I mean, it's this. A second Annihilation in this fight will be insane. He's definitely going to have it. If nothing else, they're going to have this Blizzard. Both teams will have a Blizzard indeed.
Punching away, Blizzard comes in from both sides to freeze them up into the ice block. Goes Knife to try to stay alive. Sound barrier did come through from Youngjun, but there's an anti on the back end, catching out onto 2, and they get walled in completely. Dragon Strike will find 1. The Annihilation is rolling. It takes down Becky, and Nice cannot escape. No one can, it would seem. And look at the smile on Marvel's face, just absolutely guffawing at the havoc he is wreaking.
And now he's forcing Fate to also go over towards the Ram as well. I don't think Phil built a Shatter, by the way, which I don't blame Fate for, because what chance are you going to get to swing? When do you get to swing your hammer when you're constantly under pressure from Marvel and the rest of O2? Nano coming through from Marvel again. And just cycle the ults.
The ult cycles. Beat gets dropped as well. Opener keeping everybody alive. They pay attention to the flank. They catch
Final fight, by the way.
Out. And Youngjoon as well, desperately trying to stay alive. They need to make their way over to the point. Fate finally touching. The question is, can they get this flip? Can they get any percentage, actually, for that matter, in this map? Because Marvel, again, is punching his way through the enemy team. Fate as well going to get taken down. And no percentage going to be found. No quarter given. O2 Blast absolutely demolished Panthera in the opening map.
Yeah, look, listen, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I think Marvel might be my early favorite for player of the match for this series if O2 Blast continue annihilating this hard. 12-0. He ends the entire map of Lijiang deathless. Infinite KD, 12 final blows, 0 deaths. 42% of his team's total damage at 10,577. Obviously, no one else broke 5 figures. The next highest is, let me take a look, it is Nice on 5,239. So he damn near had about double Nice damage. And Nice had comparable, well, I think Probe and Knife had comparable damage to Nice. So all the DPSs hovering around 5k. Marvel casually just double that on a tank. 0 deaths. Fully pounding. Absolute Giga Chad. Annihilation after annihilation. Give him all the nanos. This dude just holds the entirety of Panthera at the gate.
Man could not be denied. That is for damn sure. Absolutely destroyed them. And we say single-handedly, but obviously the support staff doing a damn good job of enabling him. But let's see if that reign of terror is going to be able to continue, or if they will finally be able to shut him down, give him a death here in this series. The onus and map pick are on Panthera as we look towards their response. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we'll get into map 2. And we are back. One map out of the way, and O2 Blast showed up to perform. Marvel, in particular, absolutely took over the lobby. And it's 100% to 0 in both of our rounds there of Lijiang Tower. Now, we do have PANTHERA getting map select, so we'll see where they want to take us for hybrid.
And no substitutions as far as I know. And you wouldn't see Marvel subbed off for attack unless it was going to be a Diva favor map. Or I would have in the past said Sigma as well, but we know Marvel could also play Sigma. He's a Sigma male himself, so don't even worry about it. This guy's unique hero pool includes, you know, all the main tanks, and then on top of that, also a Sigma. Just why not? And that's actually strangely extremely useful. So keep him in.
Okay,
Marvel is pounding his way through at the moment. Sorry, say again.
So we got Hollywood, so
okay.
Don't need the Diva. Can just stick in with the Winston if you have to.
Yeah, this will be a Winston map, I think, especially on B point. I think you can force the Ram on A and then swap to Winston for B and then probably back to the Ram on C is how this map usually goes, unless you're so good that you just steamroll your entire way through all 3 points of Ramatra and you never lose a fight. That could also be possible. Did O2 lose fights? They did lose a couple, I think, because some players did end up swapping from deaths. And I believe PANTHERA did cap a couple times, not on Control Center, but Gardens. They got a bit of percentage point, right? Unless I'm mistaking my memory there a little bit. So it's not it's not a 200-0, basically, is what I'm saying.
I could have sworn it was.
Was it?
Have I misconstrued? Either way, it was dominant. It doesn't matter. It wasn't. It frankly wasn't close. I'm looking back at it right now on my other monitor, and it was 100-0.
And another 100-0.
Yep.
Right? Okay. See, in my mind, in my narrative, I'm trying to throw some bones to PANTHERA. I'm trying to give them a little something, like, surely it wasn't that, like, okay, it was very one-sided, but like PANTHERA put up a fight, right? They did something apparently not. Apparently you go back and check the score lines, 200-0. So yeah, that was sadly not pretty from PANTHERA. And PANTHERA are arguably the second best team in Contenders Korea, if not Poker Face. So one of the top three for sure. Could be second, but they're definitely top three. Well, as we mentioned here, we are going to be Winstoning up for this map.
And first on the attack here is O2. It's nice around the back. Just going to be doing a little bit of scouting here with this Sombra. Seems like O2 Blast kind of conforming to the Guangzhou Charge side of things. Say, you know what? We've got a Hanzo. We don't need a Sombra. Just stick Probe on that. See how much value he can get. Nice, barely gets out with his life, and Probe manages to pursue around the corner. Fate was so low, but the healing just didn't come in fast enough. They managed to get line of sight. They take him down. Now everybody else just corralled inside of the cafe, and it's just a matter of time. And there he goes. Marvel jumping in. Slay immediately taken down. Youngton dead as well, and that's just going to be a point cap on A.
It will be, because the two supports are dead now. If they didn't die, they could have had a retake here with Fate respawning. I don't know why PANTHERA stuck around in cafe, knowing that their only hope of defending A after losing Fate, which is probably one of the worst things that can happen out the gate, is you have to wait for the respawns, give away 2 ticks, play for the retake, and hope for the best. Yeah. There's no ultimates available, but it is possible to get the retake in there, but not if you hang out in the cafe and get farmed.
Farm, they did in fact get, I guess. I'm not sure where I'm going with these words. Either way, bubble setup, they're looking to go ahead and
we love our agriculture
in
this cast.
Support your local farms. Shots going across. Fate again, just going to be the focus fire, but then manages to get in on top of Probe. Does take him down before the Dragon Strike can come through. Still hovering around the low ground, looks like widely. O2 Blast happy to go ahead and pull back a bit as the cart does get inched forward slightly by Knife. Eventually will make his exit, and Probe is now going to be swapping over to the Sombra as well.
Okay, so giving up the Hanzo here. I think the Hanzo is actually pretty decent on this part of the map, but if you want to make good dives happen, especially on the attacking side, I can understand why the Sombra is there. However, super far behind. Nice to, as mentioned, is very far ahead. How about the stick, though? Saved by the Nano.
Nano comes across, Youngton managing to survive, but obviously not the ideal target. A necessary use, but not where you want to direct that. It does come down. Marvel going to get antied out, but in the meantime, Nice goes into the back line. EMP comes across. Opener going to fall. Marvel ends up just Goomba stomping him from behind. Goes back up onto the high ground. Isolates Slay for a brief little moment. Snipe will find Becky, and the cart can continue to glide forward. So about a minute and a half now gone from the initial time bank. Still making neck break pace at the moment.
I don't think the payload's really stopped, has it? I mean, this has just been continued pushing the entire way through. Contenders O2 Blast, they're all contenders. O2 Blast have just repeatedly pushed forward on tempo. Okay, Irony dying here is a problem with Opener following. O2 Blast have officially lost the fight and they have to reset.
Definitely slows him down. EMP was committed to the
Unless,
fight here
hang
by
on,
Pro.
unless.
Now, yes, Slay and Youngjin going to be traded up. Becky as well traded up. That's going to be a 3 for 2. Support's now respawning. Obviously, slightly faster run back for the cart. Does continue to glide forward. It's going to be on Fate to try to get himself out here to contest this one. He's going to use the Primal just to get it. And now Nice has to jump away. Goes in, just looking to bat Marvel off the card as best as he possibly can. Pulse Bomb nearly online here for Knife. Now does have it. Would go ahead and finish off the Winston if he can get the stick across. He's well farming as best as he can to try to catch up. But Fate is going to fall. The Pulse Bomb not even necessary for it. Opener narrowly stays alive with the rally rolling. The whip shot, it's just an upheal taking down Becky. The Perseveres, they will lose Irony, but the cap comes in. It's 440 for the final stretch. Ults still banked, have not been pushed forward here. Knife can absolutely destroy with this.
I can't believe that the fight that O2 Blast looked like they lost was actually still a one fight because they traded backlines. That is incredible. Lose Open and Irony, no worries. Trade Slay and Youngjin, now nobody has supports. And off the back of no supports being available, O2 Blast then get another kill onto, I can't even remember who the next player that died was, but it's a 2v3 and it doesn't stop from this point onwards. Nice will be the one that first falls here.
It's still not
and
stopping.
Panthera can just not stop the O2 Blast push whatsoever.
Look how deep Marvel is right now. I mean, he's outside in the spot. He's playing on point C. Pulse Bomb goes across here into the stairwell. Knife recalling away from it. Does keep himself alive, but doesn't find an opener. Marvel not going to be punished on the exit as well. Great hack, however. Nice will catch Probe. They managed to take him down, not being able to translocate out. And this might be the first real time that the card is actually going to grind to a halt.
Yeah, it looks like it. Now we have to see where the EMPs come through. Nano does get applied. So Ultra Blast don't wait long. They stop for a little bit with the Nano coming through. They're going to push forward.
I mean, EMP for EMP. They lose out on opener, but they're still looking to turn this one, but I don't think it's going to work. Slay still has so much green HP at the moment there from that rally.
Nano?
Going to be
Slay?
taken down, so it seems like it's going to end up being a bit of an overcommit here from the side of O2 Blast for the very first time. Getting punished for overstepping. Now they're going to have to go for a full reset.
Okay, so Nano gets saved there from Slay. They probably didn't want to overchase towards the O2 Blast spawn. That does make sense. Technically, you've already won the fight, but O2 Blast got away with a lot of alive members there. They didn't really fall too heavily at all. Still with over 3 minutes remaining for O2 Blast. They're not in a bad spot. Just have to work on the next ultimates. Ironing on 52, so looking at where the next openings can come through from O2 Blast. Rally's probably not quite enough.
No, and opener's dead. Doesn't even get the rally online. If he had, he actually might have gotten baited into using it and then would have lost it instantly. So at least we'll have it for the follow-up fight. But that is going to be 2 minutes taken out of the time bank here from the side of Panthera, who have a decent little foothold here towards point C. Knife as well, getting jumped on. He's far too isolated and away from the rest of the supports.
That's a sad death. Because if you notice, Marvel went down low there but didn't die, which allows Irony to farm up the Nano. And he's got it now, and Irony's about to die. Rally saves him.
Rally from opener, keeps him alive. Slay in the meantime does get taken down. Pulse Bomb goes across, however, cuts that rally shy. Opener going to be taken out. Knife gets a bit of revenge here for his support. Eliminates Becky. They trade up for the time being. Faster run backs, obviously in the favor of the side of Panthera. The Primal rolling. See, Youngjin just getting beaten and battered away, and he's going to get taken down before he can build up his own rally. 7% shy. Now he might not be able to have it here for this fight unless Nice and the rest of the team can try to extend. Fade comes in, Knife going to be antied out, but Nice still does eventually fall. Becky looking to hold the card, recalls back over onto it, keeps the contested for the time being, but the EMP is available. It ends up getting popped. Fade comes jumping forward, he's completely hacked out, and Youngjin with the rally rolling is all on his lonesome, so eventually does die.
Oh my goodness.
With 1 minute and 41 seconds remaining, O2 Blast will get to the end of Hollywood.
Achilles, would you like another fun fact? A certified Avril fun fact for our Overwatch League broadcast today. Okay, here you go. First fun fact of the broadcast coming from me. Marvel is still deathless after that half of Hollywood. Still.
Good lord.
Did not die on the entirety of Lijiang. Has still not died on Hollywood. And yes, everyone else has died. Every other player in the lobby, bar Marvel, has died. He is not. This guy's invincible. He finished Lijiang 12-0, 12 final blows, 0 deaths. He is currently sitting at 8 final blows and 0 deaths. And he is still the lobby leader. He was a lobby leader in Lijiang on Ramatra. Now he's the lobby leader in Hollywood on a Winston, sitting at 8-0, no deaths. Why is Marvel not in the Overwatch League? Why?
Shanghai. This guy right here. Give it an investigation. Look,
Anybody need a tank player?
But at the same time, come on.
Listen, I don't get a commission for this, but anyone need a tank player real quick? Just I just gonna slap the roof. I'm gonna slap this roof real quick. There's so much main tank in this one player. Just so much tanking. So much
Well,
heck and tanking going on here for Marvel.
At this point, I think that's the most interesting storyline. Let's see how long this can continue. How deep does this rabbit hole go? Can Marvel go the entire series deathless? We're gonna find
I
out.
think that'd be a first. I think that's never. I don't know if that's
Surely it
ever
would
happened
have
before.
to.
That's like
Especially
league
for
record.
a tank player, that would have to be. DPS, a support, sure. I can see that happening in the past. For a tank, I'm not so certain. Either way, it's back over to Hanzo here for Probe Knight's going to be taken to the sky with that Echo. This Knight just looks to hold the high ground. Maintains the back stairwell corridor. As Beam comes in, Irony falling very early on. Marvel jumping up into the sky to try to keep it contested. And he's falling very low, and there's only so much healing that Opener can do. Seems like it's just a matter of time.
Here it comes.
Watching the HP, he grabbed a health pack, and there you go. Fate drops in alongside Nice, and they deliver the first kill, and that should also be a very nice establishment here on this point, if not the entire cap, because, yeah, I'm still waiting on Marvel to respawn, so the recontest is not going to be available.
Just fell to my knees in the parking lot watching that. Not gonna lie to you. O2 Blast. Yeah, okay. Not. It was a decent pickup from Nice on the was it the Echo? Pretty decent pickup coming in. Instantly gets a kill. Low HP on O2 Blast. I believe they lost the healer as well at some point. Just not enough healing to keep them up. See if Panthera can get some good movement. That was a really good fight from Panthera. And a lot of time on the clock now to try and match what O2 Blast put on the board.
Yeah, I think much needed, not only just in the sense of being able to actually, grab that point, not get full health, but just as far as instilling some confidence here. Because like you said, they have played O2 Blast really, really closely. They forced them to have to pull off a reverse sweep in the past. But when you're just getting beaten and battered, you're going to start losing confidence in your own play, and that can have a very big exacerbating effect on the rest of the game. So being able to break through there, have a very clean fight, certainly going to help out.
Nano's available, by the way.
Yeah, Nano is there from Slay. Irony gets his, but he
not on
dies.
Irony,
Nice,
though.
just absolutely dinks him. Recon arrow right through the face. Finds the opening kill. Now Nano going to be invested here from Slay. Goes over to Nice and really try to keep this Hanzo in the fight and eventually put up some additional kills. He's rushing forward. He's looking for a little bit more action, but won't find too much. So they at least keep him alive. They keep the cart rolling.
Oh, good find on Probe. Yeah, that's at 99 as well, so that's a critical time to get rid of Probe. He's got the EMP just about there. But the most important part is because he dies, he loses the entire setup on Sombra, so he can't come in from the back. It's going to get a little bit awkward for O2 Blast. Everyone's respawned now. Marvel forced to primal.
It does pop
that's
that.
not a... That's a good force coming through from Becky.
Okay. Takes a nap. Nano still held. Now going to be invested. Has to come back down, but Anti goes across. Slay managing to find Opener and Irony. Both under fire, but the kill cannot be found. Marvel again, instead rather, just going to be pushing forward. Gets the zaps across. Slay ends up falling. From Youngjun now expiring. Just trying to keep the rest of the team alive as Marvel goes on the hunt, looking to take down Nice. The rest of the team is there to try to peel. Pulse Bomb goes out. Marvel managing to find that kill eventually, but they like HP bars right now for O2 is so very low. Youngjun falling, however, that might just be enough.
Oh, Fate's dead.
The reset going to come through as Knife will find a second one, and the cart can be locked in position.
Fate was looking for health back there and to maybe jump away, but not going to be the case, and Becky has to make sure he doesn't follow through the same fate, ironically. That was an unintentional pun from me as Panthera. This is a massive slowdown now. O2 Blast. Don't really have much to work with either. The rally will keep them up for a while and make it difficult for Panthera to really fight. It'll come down to the Slay Nano. So, how quickly is that one going to be farmed up? Is the next question. And Fate taking a bio is pretty bad.
Yeah, not great. Not great at all. And tried to
It's
drop
a
the
good time
pump
for
to keep
Irony, by the way.
protected, but they're too close.
Irony will get a chance to catch up now because Slay could have converted that HP loss on Fate into a Nano. Irony hasn't done too much healing just yet though because O2+ haven't taken a lot of damage. But off that back of the Fate kill, Marvel also catches up on Primal, so they do gain something.
Falls from Knife again. Nothing found, no stick, no kill. Rally from Opener. Start off the fight, hack on the Fate. Primal can't be used for now, but now is going to be alright. And again, it's going to be the Nano out on the Nice. Dragon Strike at the ready. Here comes Marvel diving into the back line, denies him the high ground access, gets the jungle across, puts Slay into the corner, but a nice sleep dart will keep him protected. Now the anti goes in. Marvel does manage to stay alive. Kill not going to be found. Drop down from Becky, trying to threat this back line. Pulse bomb at the ready. Oh,
Good
lobs it
stick.
over the dumpster. Throws Irony right into it. Nice as well with another headshot. Takes out Knife. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade up here in favor of the side of Panthera at the moment. Marvel keeps up one of the high ground, drops down, wants to be able to grab this mega pack, is able to do so, but Nice is on a tear. 3 kills, I believe, in the fight. Reveals Marvel, helps set up for the kill, and now the cart should be able to push into point B.
Super underrated player. I mean, we haven't seen Nice in the Overwatch League since 2021 when he was on Toronto Defiant. And he's been swapping time between T1 and Toronto since then, with T1 sort of no longer existing, having a team. He went to PANTHERA, and honestly, I felt like Nice was ready to be in the Overwatch League this year. He's kind of proving that right now. This Hanzo has been immense. You can start to see why Slay and the rest of PANTHERA are putting the resources into Nice. Hanzo is bringing up the results. It's getting those picks.
A huge volley to keep them in this. I mean, if they could storm their way all the way to C, they could finish with pretty much an equal time bank. Team not looking to have that happen, though. They want to get the hold here as Probe narrowly escapes, 15 HP remaining as he jumps back with a translocator. It's just a lot of forward pressure being applied from O2. Waiting for their moment to strike, trying to find this pick. Knife down, Pulse at the ready. Tries to slap it down, but again, gonna go wide. Can't quite lock in Fate with that one. Not gonna find the kill, but Nice does. Right in on top of the Tracer. Another arrow right to the forehead.
Becky,
but yeah, Probe does catch him, so 1 for 1 on those damage dealers. Dragon Strike now going to be tossed through the right hand side of the map. Cart again advancing forward, looking to get through this last choke point. Storm arrows going to be expiring. Any stray shot though onto the CPS, and that could be them going
Nano
down.
again.
So they have to be careful around him. Nano on the Nice once more. This seems to be the win condition here. PANTHERA are banking on, but Slay in the meantime continues to go lower and lower. And Knife is going to be able to find that elimination. Finishes with a melee hit. EMP goes across the sleep just a little bit too late from Slay to try to interrupt it. So the hacks still come in. Nice will find a parting gift before getting taken down, but the cart for now locked in. O2 Blast in control. Superior time bank at least guaranteed.
And the final kill to Marvel there just to kind of seal the deal. So as Nice goes down, he still takes one with him. That'll just slow down
right?
O2 Blast from... Huh? That's
Second death.
2 Nice, correct. Marvel's like 3 now total. So 2 to Nice specifically that I remember. I don't know that Nice really needed to throw in the extra Dragon Strike a little earlier on. With Becky going down, it's a little bit awkward. He got that kill into, I believe it was Knife. They had the 5 versus 4. Once it got equalized, it got a little bit awkward. They needed to wait for 5 again. 1 minute left remaining, so things are getting a little bit tough here for PANTHERA.
Becky having to back away from the fight, but Nice again finds a kill. Probe going to be taken out, but Becky gets traded. Knife does this time get a stick. Takes out Youngjin. 2 for 2, but it's going to be the damage dealers for a damage dealer and a support on the opposite side. 48 seconds now remaining. PANTHERA, 3 ults to try to work their way through to the final push. Nothing at the moment for the side of O2 Blast. Opener going low, the Dragon Strike goes across. Irony.
Good whip shot.
Full of healing, just trying to keep him alive. Fate occupying a forward position, jumps in, Primal at the ready. Sleep Dart not going to connect. Goes a little bit wide, so Fate still can go ahead, leap around at his leisure. He's looking for a little bit more, but eventually will get put down. Pulse bomb from Becky, though, not going to find the stick. No elimination found. Knife in the meantime, hovering around the back line. He's got the attention of both of these supports. He's trying to keep them occupied. The heals come through. They manage to stay sustained. Nice and Fate now falling low. EMP comes across, finds for Anti out onto Youngjun, and suddenly it's just the supports left alive. The Nano using desperation to try to keep this Brig alive. But he gets put to bed, and it seems like that is going to be it. They're zoned away from the cart. They cannot get the touch. The hold will come through in front of point C. They get close, but not close enough to force us into extra innings. And O2 Blast will now move up to 0.
They bend, but they do not break. O2 Blast, they hold on to C. It was a really good attacking side coming through from PANTHERA, though, given how one-sided it has been for O2 Blast over the Lijiang Tower, over O2's attacking side as well, where they got a reasonably good time bank, had a lot of time going into C. PANTHERA got some damage done. They got a one and done on A single attempt. Knife started to really pop off. He caught up on a lot of eliminations there, on a lot of kills. Hanzo doing a ton of damage, consistently finding first picks. But as PANTHERA get towards the end of the map, they struggle to build up any sort of a lead. They can't get an ult advantage. They can't get a player advantage. Whatever player advantage they do get is instantly traded by O2. And they never have that tempo back in their favor after that moment. I think the moment you see the Dragon Strike come through, not that that was the mistake, but that was the turning point for me. Becky dies. Nice uses Dragon Strike. And they never recover from that point.
That they do not. So now match point in the hands of O2 Blast. We'll see if they can seal the deal. PANTHERA again going to be having their map pick as we get ready to go to Escort. See if that's going to be good enough for them to go ahead and get a map online and try to pull off this time a reverse sweep versus O2 Blast. Would be catastrophic for O2, dropping their win streak, but right now it looks like they are firmly in control. We'll see what happens though and which map we're going to be going to when we come back from the break. Alrighty, we're back once again and going into what could very well be the final map of this series. O2 Blast on a warpath, looking for a 3-0 victory. Now just need to get through Panthera's potentially final map pick here as we get ready to go to Escort in order to pull that off. As
Someone's looking deep into Marvel's camera, and it's not Marvel.
They're looking at his post-game stats, and they're like, what the hell?
Damn, brother. I can also tell you the play in Knife Seed is not Knife. We're going to see Top Dragon coming in, my man. Good to see Top Dragon playing. I still think a super hyped up flex DPS. It's interesting that O2 Blast have mainly been playing Knife over Top Dragon, considering they're very similar hero pools. Possibly Knife has been better in scrims, or could be a team environment thing. Can't really argue with O2 given their success so far. Again, 30-0. A lot of that from last year, but plenty of that from this year as well with both Knife and Top Dragon. Really, this team is just an embarrassment of riches. We have Knife, Top Dragon, Probe. Behind Probe is also Proud, who's too young to play. Proud was actually in the Saudi E-Leagues recently because, well, no age limit there. So he's flown to Saudi to play. Well, I can't even remember what team he's on, but he's basically a mercenary there, still under O2 contract. The point is, if Proud was 17, I think he'd be playing in this match as well. I think Proud is insane as a hit scan. But as mentioned, just underage, even with the age reduction. So Probe still gets to be the starting player for good reason. Got to see Attack coming in now to play some Diva. It's possible we're going to something like a Rialto or a Havana. In either case, you know, all good maps for off-tank players, Diva, Sigma, etc. Attack used to be on Talon back in the day, one of the teams that rivaled O2 Blast, and now he's finally on the O2 team instead. All
right. He's stepping in some big shoes to fill, though. We'll see how he fares coming into this. But the stage has been set up for him to just go ahead and exceed, as well as Top Dragon, who I must say, Top Dragon looks like he could be the younger brother of Fleta.
Honestly, he's got the skills for it as well. He's really got the mechanics that you see a younger Fleta. I say younger Fleta, like even a couple of years ago, like 2021, 2020 Fleta, 2019 Fleta. Top Dragon has the kind of flex DPS mechanics that really does remind me of that level of play. So good to see Top Dragon being fielded in here. And yeah, Top Dragon's been around for a while across a few different contenders rosters and now finally made it to the top one. So we'll see how this roster plays through now. I don't think they have any substitutes for supports. Not that you would want to, but O2 Blast. No, they only have Open and Irony, but they have a substitute. They have 2 extra DPS players and an extra tank player. So as I mentioned, just an embarrassment of riches.
Well, get to see 2 of them. For the side of Panthera, though, no substitutions coming through. Just going to be sticking with the same 5-man core. See whether or not they're going to be able to turn things around. We'll get ready to go back to the map select screen as well to see which escort they've decided to take us to try to turn the tides. But first, before we do that, let's go ahead and praise Knife some more as he gets, you know, substituted out because he had a whale of a time. The pulse bomb attach rate might not, you know, be too fantastic, but the rest of the figures speak for themselves.
I think this, like, comparison of stat would be pretty much the same across the board for all 5 players versus all 5 players of Panthera, given how one-sided especially Lijiang was, but how one-sided the first half of Hollywood was. It really was the second half of Hollywood that allowed players like Becky and the rest of Panthera to catch up. Honestly, Becky has some good moments there. You talk about the pulse bomb over the dumpster play that happened. That was just a nice 3-pointer shot from him to land that stick. I think the Becky Nice combo was really nice to look at here. And beyond that as well, you would normally expect someone like Becky to play the Echo. The Nice came through in the Echo and really got them that 8 point. We remember Becky fondly from his LA Valiant run last year where I think along with Easy Han, both Easy Han and Becky were bright spots on that team.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's plenty of bright spots actually to speak of in hindsight about that team, even though we had no expectations for it going into the season. But it is actually going to be a Rialto once again, saw this in the previous series. Seems like it's going to be the flavor of the evening, as we will be diving into this for our escort map and see if Panthera can get a win.
I mean, this is one of the guaranteed ways you can force O2 to substitute Marvel out, because you know this is an off-tank map.
Sure. Yes,
Marvel can play Sigma, but Diva really dominates the meta on Rialto, so this is where you want to get Attack in. There's not going to be any slouch. I don't know if this is going to help Panthera enough, but if there's a road to the reverse sweep, it's got to start one map at a time, and you got to try and pick away at whatever weaknesses O2 have, and one of them is to try and sub Marvel out so that somebody else plays.
Oh, maybe that'll be a big enough boon. So perhaps that was the entire strategy. Maybe they've got something else as well cooked up here for Rialto. I'll have to just wait and see what does transpire as we get ready to go into the action, and I don't know if there's going to be any curveballs sent our way, but it seems like you probably got this one nail on the head.
those that forget as well, O2 is also a San Francisco Shock's academy team. I believe, is that the only academy team available? I think Gen G is back, so Seoul still have an academy team as of 2023. That might be two. Uprising Academy no longer have one. And fun fact about Poker Face, which is one of the other contenders teams in Group A, the other side of the bracket, they're mostly comprised of ex-Uprising Academy players. So plenty of Overwatch League talent and ex-Overwatch League players across the board on all these contender squads. As we head into map, no surprise attack on the D.Va. Fate's going to start on the Winston, where, okay, well, Fate's not really a D.Va player, so I guess this is what you do. You have to play the Winston here if you can't play D.Va.
All right. Attack on the D.Va on the defense. Not going to be confusing at all. His top dragon just going to be taking the skies there with that echo. We're going to poke it broad where possible. See just how far Panthera can take us. Probe around the back, looking for a prime hack target. Does see Becky. He'll go his way. Right now, he's just trying to play catch up. Keep pace with the rest of the team. But yeah,
no.
D-Mac does come across. Attack. Take it down and probe. Instantly slept and absolutely demolished. Youngjin with the whip shot finds the kill, and that's going to be effectively 3 kills because, I mean, the Baby D.Va hasn't been finished off quite just yet, but things are not looking good whatsoever. Top Dragon as well going to be taken down for some added pain as Opener tries to
that's a good kill
behind the light post, but cannot stay alive. Attack miraculously, despite being the first one to really kind of get isolated, is the last one to get back into the mech and also stayed alive. I believe he just went for the spawn room reset.
Well, that kill onto Open is actually huge because it now, you know, forces O2 Blast to have a longer reset time. Look at the payload. It's already nearly at the archway. This is such insane amount of distance for Panthera, who win the attacking side on both fronts. They get the D.Va D-Mech, and they also get the sleep into Probe. O2 Blast still trying to recover from this fake, by the way, now is definitely on the D.Va as Probe is shut down again.
And that he is. Youngjin will get traded out, attack able to find that kill, but once again, it's going to be D-Mech. Ironing out in the back line, under fire, dashes forward, trying to join in with the rest of the team, but the tracking is there, and he can't run up the wall and get indoors. Fate manages to hound him down. Pulse Bomb committed to the fight as well by Top Dragon. It finds absolutely no value. The cap is there, and it's 4:48 time bank here for Panthera, who just steamroll their way through the cap on A.
Yeah, back with a vengeance. Becky doing a ton of work there. Slay, we noted the sleep darts coming on through, and we talk about, you know, who's got good KDs and all that, or at least I bring that up sometimes. The only player that's died of Panthera on their entire attack has just been Youngjin, so it's been pretty flawless for Panthera. Again, the opening was so insane. Probe and attack down at the same time, plus a late death on opener. You really couldn't hope for much better than that. The EMP quicker than Probe.
Aggro EMP does get used. Probe using one in counter. Trying to turn the tides of the fight here. Rally comes out from Youngjin just to try to keep everybody alive, and Fate eventually getting broken out of the mech does go for the self-destruct and will at least zone back the members of O2 Blast. Rush now going to be invested as well, slapped down just to try to keep himself alive, get that brief little bit of invulnerability. It works a treat, it shoves them away, but it's still only 40 seconds effectively gone now. His attack
good hack.
Mauled. Hacked, antied, melted out of the mech, forced to use that self-destruct. Not going to find any value there. Little Becky with the pulse bomb. Drops down 7 HP remaining for him. Stays alive for a little bit longer, but Top Dragon eventually able to pursue deep enough to get the elimination. Probe dodging out, Sleep Dart not going to connect. Slay now going to fall. It seems like Team Blast shaking things off just a little bit and finding their footing.
As a good initial attack onto attack, and again, that wasn't on purpose either, but the bio nade and the, what was it, the hack definitely was, and that gets the D-Mech instantly forcing self-destruct. From there, you'd think that O2 Blast were going to be in a really tough spot without the attack, but they hold on. Really well played there. Becky going down, and Panthera forced to reset. This is where they start to lose a lot of time. All of that bank that they built up on A starts to slip away now. Top Dragon on a bit of a mission. I think he's got to get out. He's really far ahead.
He is. Attack as well. Just plowing through. Just up in front
attack.
of multiple players, but I mean the heals are flying his way from across the little canal. So overall, still in a prime position. Brings back in another self-destruct about to be online. Nano going to be committed here to Fate. He leaps up onto the high ground, looking to contest, looking for somebody
Opener's out of position.
Yeah. Opener in a bad spot. Irony joins in to make it a little bit of a juicier target. In fact, the EMP is going to be used on either side, but it's going to be the side of O2 Blast who come up with the kills. Fate and Nice will take it down. Probe still at a sliver. Top Dragon as well, getting worked lower and lower, but they just do not have the damage now. They cannot find these kills.
Yeah, as soon as the Nano's gone, I mean, the damage output from Panthera is really lacking at that stage. And O2 Blast just keep pocketing openers out of position. He's under threat. Irony TPs to him.
So badly.
And they're running into spawn at this stage. I mean, O2 Blast, they're just so immense in the pressure they put onto Panthera. No supports. Fate's going to die as well. Becky invest pulse bomb. He's not going to be stopping. That was just a mistake.
Yeah. Opener taking him down. Looked like he thought maybe if he could get an opening pick on the back end right as his teammates are respawning, that could shift the tempo and get them right back into pushing. Is going to be noted. Nice. Looking for the hack. Finds it. Recall, however, still goes through. Top Dragon in a bit of an iffy position, but is able to dash out the safety, at least for now. And actually, no, with Probe joining in, they actually want to reaggress this.
Oh, Top Dragon on 1.
Oh, let's get taken
Down
down.
by Fate. And that's the start you need if you are Panthera at this stage. And let's see if they can make this 5v4 work. But if you're O2 Blast, you can just pull back. Or I guess you can just go for this as well. This is very aggressive from Irony. I don't think this is going to work out because Panthera just swap sides.
I mean, he's trying to keep Opener alive as he gets juggled into the corner. They beat him away to the opposite side, and Nice is able to pursue, finds that elimination, and yeah, it seems like a bit of an overcommit, a bit of overconfidence perhaps there from Irony, using the ult, finding no value. Now right back into the push. Our Panthera, cart going to be locked in place for now with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining.
EMP's coming.
The cart, but they're falling lower and lower. Probe has to be Nano.
Nano
actually.
EMP.
Opener investing that one just to try to get this over in the mix. EMP still going to be at the ready. Top Dragon hovering lower.
It
EMP
missed.
comes across. Anti goes out on the 2. Probe down to a sliver of HP. Becky finds the kill. Top Dragon as well. It's an inevitability that he gets taken down. Now attack going to be broken out of the mech. The pulse bomb stick comes in. Opener taken out. And that is just going to be the extended team kills. Irony will fall and the cap comes in under B.
That was really bad to see, unfortunately. Coming through from the O2 Blast side of things, I understand why the Nano went into Probe. He's low HP. He's about to have Nano. You don't want Probe going down there. You also don't want him translocating away. You want him to commit in that fight and pop the EMP. Nano EMP does also do more damage, but it's super obvious what's happening. Nice probably knows the EMP is coming because he's almost got EMP himself. And so Panthera, they just split to the 4 wins and no one gets hit by the Nano EMP at all. That was a wasted ultimate combo, sadly. And O2 Blast crumble off the back of that one. And Nice gets to retain his EMP for this fight.
Nearly set up for the kill here. On to Probe, who does narrowly stay alive. Relying on some of that life steal to keep himself in this. That's nice. Scouting, does get spotted, sends out the EMP, finds 3. Opener going to be the first to fall. Slay, however, going to be answered back more on the opposite side. Top Dragon finding that kill nearly with another pulse online. Leap out from Fate, falls low, Nice now. Again, noted, spy checked, has to translocate the safety, and Probe gets Becky in the meantime. Added staggers, found there on the back end, as we go once again to 1 minute and 5 remaining.
That was a good Bionet from Irony. If it wasn't for the Bionet of the backline for Slay and Youngjin, I don't think you trade for Slay there. It also puts a lot of pressure on the Youngjin to not walk forward. Speaking of walking forward, Attack's going to try and do that with his own Nano. Can't find a lot of value, though.
He's mostly holding the door,
He's
but
losing
he's
mag.
going to be taken lower and lower, and yeah, doesn't get to use the self-destruct because the hack comes through. Probe as well.
Probably would have been a bad self-destruct anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. Top Dragon slept surely is not going to be able to get out of here with his life intact, and he does not. So another extended team kill, as the cart can once again start moving forward. 28 seconds remaining.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest thing, right? They don't have time. So despite O2 Blast kind of, losing a couple fights there, there's just not much left for Panthera to play through. This is the last fight. Attack's going to remake here. Good block from Opener's shield. Just a Nano left to play through. You have to watch for Probe as well. That's a very early Baronet. It's going to force Panthera back and see if Probe can be put in a position for success.
Also forced the recall out of Becky, so he doesn't have that for the time being. Probe waiting for an opportunity. Landed up Winston. Definitely not the juicy target that you're going to be looking for, but with Youngjin taken down, I mean, he's just going to go ahead and let her rip. The target's already basically killed. Slave will still fall to the Death Blossom. Fate only able to find 1 in response. Now he's gone. The OT will go ahead and bleed away. And that is going to be the resting place for the cart. So a win condition does get locked in for the side of O2 Blast.
79-19 is a reasonable amount of distance. It is defendable is what I'll say there. But well played towards the end there by O2 Blast. Probe just locking up the double supports. Even if it's just a single player left, Slay's the only one alive for the support line. Just solo ult him, guarantee the kill, take away both supports. Panthera can't win after that. Take a look at Becky a little bit earlier on. This was the, if you see that, Probe just nanoed, didn't hit anybody, so that was the missed nano, missed EMP rather. And then Becky comes through with a number of good kills here. And we just saw the Becky versus Knife statistics, and well, Becky and the rest of Panthera were losing pretty hard in the first 2 maps, and definitely the first half of Hollywood. Here on Rialto, the attack has been fairly solid. They don't get to finish, but when you consider how attack started here, completely flawlessly, no fights lost, huge staggers, 1 push, cap A, and a decent amount of pressure for B and C, Panthera are starting to really heat up.
Yeah. Much needed. We need to see that same level of performance that we got, from start to A happening now on the defense. Looks like we're not going to have any real surprises. Fate going to be sticking with the Winston. Not looking to match that D.Va. Saw him kind of go back and forth a couple times.
His D.Va was fine, and I think if you're going to an acceptable D.Va, you've already decided D.Va was fine enough to go up against attack on the attacking side. So, but to choose the Winston on defense feels a little bit misplaced here. Would have preferred the D.Va's flexibility with the boosters versus the jump on this, especially A defense. But no surprise on the O2 Blast side. They're going to be playing very standard stuff in terms of D.Va Tracer Summer Dive, attack again. It's the same thing that we saw on A last time.
I mean, such heavy focus onto him. Taking out of the mech, granted this time, obviously a bit closer. Doesn't have to run it nearly as far back to join in with the rest of the team, but we'll just be swapping off D.Va back on.
And doesn't lose ult charge either, so.
True. Point not going to penalize him. They're going to be anti probe again, poking around the extremities here. Looking to build up towards that EMP, which nice is keeping pace, if not, slightly exceeding him in. Oh, attack again, trying to move up onto the high ground, just continues to go low. Irony can at least be happy that he survives, because that's going to be a hell of a lot of charge up towards the nano, but Slay's not far behind either.
And that's the thing.
End up having a nano fight.
Well, attack has taken way more damage, and despite losing mech early, the healing has transferred to Irony, so Irony's been ahead despite being on the attacking side, and I suppose the attacking side technically should be easier. Fate just hasn't taken as much, so Slay can't catch up. It's still fairly even though, so Slay can't catch up, and this is where Slay can get some decent damage to healing in.
Top Dragon.
Nice though, nice is way ahead of probe.
Yep, there he is. Finds two. Attack and opener, both getting clipped. Irony as well, going to be antied out. Throws the nano. Before getting taken down, it's Top Dragon will find nice. 1-for-1 support for a DPS. Card, however, still going to be locked in place. Not much is going to be done with that unless Fate has to exit, which he does. Leaps back across.
Did they lose that fight? I mean, they EMP and they nano, and they are the team. Panthera retreating. They got two ultimates into that fight, and they're the ones having to back out. I understand Irony also popped the nano in there as well. And here comes the EMP from Probe now, and the rally does get popped in response, which is a good response from Youngjin.
Rally, going across. Opener, looking for just that, looking for an opener. Gonna find something. Self-destruct is available. Attack gonna be using it. Sent it across the bridge. The bubble is up, however. Fate keeps them protected for now. Top Dragon gonna be using the recall. Anti-on opener does expire. Now just contention right here in the choke, right in front of point A, trying to keep this cart locked into position. 2 meters left to go with 1 minute and 40 remaining on the clock. Attack taking a nap for a brief little moment. Becky goes in. Pulse bomb going to be let out. Doesn't find anything. Fate going to be slept. Now woken up. The primal's still there. The healing coming through. Stick from Top Dragon, however, finds Youngjin, gets in behind the shield, and manages to take him down. Nano built up. Instantly goes across. Fate going to be the recipient. Looking for Probe. Was antied out, but hasn't been able to quite hound down that kill just yet. Irony, an anti of his own. Finishes off Slay, taking out the opposing Ana. The card still 1 meter and 27 left to go.
Look at the HP bars. O2 Blast was so low there, but no one went down. They just all survive. Irony stays alive via opener. Probe gets away, and now that everyone's respawned, O2 Blast are winning the fight.
They do. Narrowly so, though. It was a lot of time bought there from the side of Panthera. So 3.5 minutes. This is where they got slowed up on their own push. So if they can do very much the same to O2 Blast, and we might be going to a map 4. Probe going to get spy checked right off the rip as he tries to push forward and get into a cheeky little position. Has to translocate out.
Both Sombra should be setting up here. Another good Bionet coming through. Both Irony and Slay have been hitting these bios really well, and that's put a lot of pressure onto the backline, which will now be EMP'd upon.
And that's going to be a 3-man EMP. Catch comes through. Slay
taking down. Kill. It is
out of the fight. Nice escapes with just barely any health remaining, as Fate will also try to make his exit. Looking to really corral in around the Winston, and they find him for some added stagger. So good punish there from the side of O2. Cart again pushing forward.
That's going to allow them some free positioning now onto the rest of B. They should be making their way across the final corner of the straight now. Where's the payload? I mean, attack's far enough for that we can basically assume the payload's pushed up well and truly as Top Dragon just continues. I mean, how is this happening? Double supports down again.
It's just packed. One goes, the other does as well as attack finds
the EMP
three in the
didn't
fight.
even need...
Yeah.
Wait, why didn't Nice EMP? Is he swapping?
I do
Surely
not know.
swapping. That was not a good EMP, Nice.
What?
Hanzo? Unironically Hanzo, because it was literally Panthera had what, 2 members alive, and Nice goes for a desperation EMP. That was never going to work out. He would have really needed an EMP. These kills don't stop, by the way.
No, they don't. They're just diving in once again, playing right outside of the spawn rooms. Attack trying to make his way out of here. The Matrix comes up, keeps himself protected for a little bit longer, and well, Nice is trying to break out the D.Va. Top Dragon comes around from behind, takes out Nice. kills continue, and it just feels like Panthera is struggling to even have a moment where all 5 players are alive and in a stable, in stable condition.
Yeah, exactly. They just haven't been able to fully reset. O2 Blast have not allowed them to. Probe now at risk of dying, but translocates away anyway. And why? This is 4 members, by the way. O2 Blast is still solo pushing on payload, while the other 4 members are pushed up. So Panthera being locked in spawn 4v5.
Okay, Primal popped. Probe getting juggled around just a bit, but he's using this very angry Winston to go ahead and farm up the rest of that EMP. He now does have online. It's nearly 5 ults ready to go. Nano opens up here onto Fate, though, trying to keep him alive, but Slay immediately dead in the back line. Irony going to be traded out, but not before he gets the Nano cross onto attack. And Opener builds the rally, pops it to go ahead and try to match against Youngjun. Now Fate crumbling. The Probe using the EMP sets up for the kill, and that is going to be the rest of them coming in as Becky is the last one playing forward here on the cart. Swap over onto the Kiriko, but they both get cleaned up. The push comes in. It's a celebratory self-destruct as O2 Blast will be able to get to the end. They will be able to get the win in 3-0 fashion.
It seems like A here was the best play for Panthera on both their attack and defense. Reasonably competitive there, but once we got to B, man, you just see the snowball pressure coming through from O2 Blast. Attack is no longer repeatedly demacked. You're starting to see a position now where, I mean, throughout the entirety of B into C, O2 Blast didn't lose a single fight. They just kept pushing on forward. As I mentioned, they essentially had 4 members of O2 spawn camping Panthera while 1 member solo pushed the payload. That's how far forward they were. That's how many kills they were repeatedly getting. EMP from Probe onto Slayer Youngjun, collecting the double backline. Cool. Following fight, Slayer Youngjun dead again. This time no EMP from Probe, doesn't need it. Nice wasted EMP. That would have been a very important EMP for Panthera to come back with to eventually get a retake in at some point, but they never got that fight going. Like you mentioned, Achilles, it seems like Panthera never had 5 alive at the same time.
That's just brutal cycle that they couldn't really break away from. O2 was just keeping them completely locked in and never really giving them a chance to, just gather their thoughts, gather a breath. Just kind of strangled them out of that game. So O2 Blast, dominant fashion. The win streak continues, now moving up to 31.
Yep, and it doesn't seem like a contenders team will be taking away O2 Blast's win streak at this point. If any team's going to do it, it's going to have to be one of the Overwatch League teams. And out of the Overwatch League teams, I feel very scared for the Dallas Fuel and the Shanghai Dragons, especially the Shanghai Dragons. But I think Infernal are the team to beat on this side of the bracket. Bracket B, Infernal should be king. So the Infernal versus O2 Blast matchup could be an absolutely deadly one. In fact, if I check the bracket and the schedule, O2 Blast will actually be playing up against Soul Infernal tomorrow. Yep. And I think to no one's surprise, Herculeos, Marvel is the player of the match. Checking through the contenders, not the contenders, just the Korean casters, everyone unanimously voted for Marvel. We did, all the Korean cast did as well. And it's just no surprise. I mean, the guy, despite only having played 2 maps, absolutely giga-pounded.
I mean, it's the most mild shock revelation that we could possibly have had. The Ramatra from him was just so damn clean. And then, even then, moving over to the Winston on Hollywood, still, a couple deaths found, but widely, a pretty much impeccable performance from him. So, nasty stuff at the hands of Marvel, and a very well-deserved player of the match.
Yeah, I think so. This guy is just so underlooked. I mean, he really shouldn't be. You know who I really credit for this one? No Hill. Because the story goes for last year, in case you don't know the lore, Marvel was thinking about retiring, and No Hill, the coach for Valiant last year, currently the coach of Toronto, the assistant coach anyway, convinced Marvel to not retire and to play one more season in AL for the LA Valiant last year. And I truly believe that Marvel had a bit of a renaissance year last year where, despite being on Valiant, he, along with some, highlighted players that we talked about, the Easy Hans and the Beckys, and Dia obviously played well last year as well, really brought Valiant back from a pretty tragic 2021 season where Valiant was competitive last year, and I think Marvel was a big part of that factor. And, he was the guy that was even on 30-day contracts to play Doomfist for the Valiant, and he looked damn good. And now he's back in playing for O2 Blast.
Yep, and he's also going to be our little interviewee, so we will have Unknown take away with the translations and let us know what Marvel has to say.
You there, Marvel?
저희가 또 이제 뒷모습이나 앞모습을 보는데 옆모습을 보는 것도 처음이에요.
Well, I mean, we've been seeing
옆모습 인터뷰. 지금 뭔가 준비하고 있나 봐요.
네네.
뭔가 좀 가릴 거 가리고.
아까 본
Okay, looks like they might need a second to get him fully squared away.
You gotta cover up more sponsors. Gotta get more red tape, I think.
Getting his little interview room ready to go. Okay, so I'm being told he is ready now, so we can go ahead and throw over to Marvel. So unknown will take it away, I suppose,
Let's see what he has to say.
unless I'm mishearing, and he's not ready. There's a chance that I'm getting false information. Okay, interview is ready, so let's go ahead and hear from Marvel.
안 들리는데?
마블 하나 둘 셋. 예, 예.
Hey, 1, 2, 3, Marvel, can you hear
아무
me?
소리도 안 들리죠?
아무 소리도 안 들린다는 거 저희만 들리고 있어요.
So apparently he's not hearing us. We're the only one hearing
예, 예.
him.
약간의 이슈가 네 있는 것 같아요. 저희가 다시 한번 잘 만져서.
We're
One day-
live.
one
He's
day
not
we will
ready.
hear from
So
Marvel.
okay, one day we'll get to hear from him.
The Marv 1 himself. I want to know what Marv 1 has to say about this matchup.
Yeah, how did it feel to just absolutely dominate your opponent?
And
then just
even
can't
beyond
respond.
that, yeah, and there's no response because he's muted. No, but I want to say the craziest part about O2 Blast is even when you start subbing players out, you bring an attack, you bring a top dragon. I mean, the team is still so well oiled. The craziest thing about O2 Blast when I talk about this 30 match win streak that is now 31 matches, they've done that with multiple rosters.
Sure.
Because it wasn't just when you think back to O2 Blast, one of the classic O2 Blast eras had both Proper and Pelican as a DPS duo at the same time. At one point they even had Kaiser as their main tank during GOATS as well, which is that was one of Kaiser's best years. He was a fantastic Ryan that year in 2019. But we've gone through multiple eras of O2 Blast, and during and that was even before the 31 match win streak. But during this 31 match win streak, it spans well over a year with multiple different players that have moved around. Some have gone through the Overwatch League. And O2 Blast, despite all the eras, you move past the Proper era. You get into the 2022 era with brand new players. Now they've moved over as well. Prophet, who has gone to Soul Dynasty, the little Prophet that is. You've got their entire support line. You talk about Chio and Vindane being picked up, Finn as well in previous years. These O2's roster has been scoured over every single season for top talent, and still every single season they somehow end up being the best team. And you look at this team right now, the only returning member is actually Probe. Everybody else on this roster is new to O2. It's only Probe that's a returning member, and still they're the top team in Contenders Korea, and it's not close.
I mean, O2 Boss, he built a hell of a system, and it's been working pretty much flawlessly ever since. So, I mean, you can't give enough credit to that guy, which hopefully he's doing all right. But yeah, again, it's just kind of the original Runaway model, where it's just like, okay, Runaway scouts talent, builds up this team, they win contenders, they move on, and those players they join an Overwatch League team. I'll still never forgive you, Vancouver. And then they replace them with other talent that just are also incredible. You get these DPS duos that are coming out, like Gangnam Jin and Lijiang when they were together, and it's just like, wow, these guys are sick. And no matter what Runaway was doing, they always looked good. They were always competitive. And O2 is kind of taking up that mantle, just front and center, and are the just talent development organization. They just know how to get value out of every single player that they could possibly pick up.
You look at teams like Shanghai this year, right? Yes, they're struggling, but one of the bright spots is Viper, their rookie Tracer player. He comes from O2 Blast. He had his one of the only real good season I've ever seen from Viper. I've never seen before, but on O2 Blast playing only Genji, and now he's pounding on Shanghai. But I think the interview is finally ready, Achilles.
Yes.
So we get to hear from Marvel, finally.
All right, let's
wanna
hear
know.
from him. Take it away.
네, 들려요.
Yeah, I can finally hear you.
많이 보고 했었는데 오늘 경기 깔끔하게 3대 0으로 판테라를 상대로 승리를 좀 하셨는데 좀 어떠신가요?
So today you won Panthera 3-0. How do you feel?
제 생각보다 팀원들 너무 잘해줘서 그냥 쉽게 이긴 것 같아요.
Well, I think it was kind of easy because our teammates all did their part.
오늘 사실 2세트만 뛰고 이제 교체됐는데 본인이 POTM 받을 거 좀 예상하셨나요?
Well, you only played two maps and still got player of the match. Did you think that you would get the player of the match?
0대스였거든요, 제가.
맞아요.
Well, I think I did because on the first map I actually won Deathless.
라와트라 딱 하고
And after Ramatra, I was like, okay, maybe today's me.
그렇게 생각을 확실히 하셨나요?
So you were certain
오늘
that you would get the player of the match.
데스수랑
Yeah.
10분당 딜량 데미지를 거의 뭐 한 1분마다 얘기했기
맞아요. 계속
때문에
소리쳤어요.
Yeah, so even in the Korean cast, we were talking about your deaths and damage for 10 minutes all the time, and that's how good you were.
계속 연승을 달리고 있는데 팀 분위기는 굉장히 좋나요 지금?
O2 is on an undefeated run so far. How's the team atmosphere like?
웃으면서 게임하고 있어요.
I mean, we're always playing with smiles on our faces these days. It can't be better.
사실 오늘 경기 이제 깔끔하게 승리를 했고 많은 분들과 저희 중계진들도 기대하고 있는 바로 내일 빅매치.
So tomorrow's the big match. You're going against the Seoul Infernal.
서울 인페르날전 좀 어떠십니까?
So how are you looking at the Seoul Infernal match?
굉장히 이제 강팀이고 연습할 때도 많이 해봤는데.
I mean, they're a really great team, and we've played against them in scrims. But I mean, I do have the confidence that if we can just beat the Seoul Infernal, we can just finish our group first. This is going to be the only test.
이제 아무래도 이제 그룹 B에서 세 팀의 리그팀을 만나야 되는데 내가 좀 이 탱커만큼은 좀 그냥 이기고 싶다.
So you're potentially going against 3 Overwatch League teams in Group B. Is there a specific tank player that you want to go against?
어렵나요?
Is it a difficult question?
어차피 내일 인페르날 잡으면은 뭐 나머지 모르겠다. 약간 이런 느낌으로 보이는 건데.
I mean, I'm guessing that. I mean, if you win against Infernal, the rest is irrelevant. But we'll go to the next question.
승리할 거라고 예상을 좀 하십니까? 몇 대 몇?
So how, if you're gonna win, how do you think the score's gonna be?
딱 그거 그긴 것 같아요. 3대 0으로 이기거나 3대 2로 이기거나.
So I think it's gonna be like either side of the coin, right? It's gonna be either really easy 3-0, or it's gonna go all the way to 3-2.
그 팀은 사실 전체적으로 다 잘해서 그래도 뽑자면은 딜러 라인 되게 좀.
Well, I mean, everyone on the Infernal is really good, but yes, the DPS line is really threatening.
마블 선수와 오토블래스트를 응원하는 팬분들께서 사실 리그도 뛰어봤던 마블 선수기도 하고 이제 컨텐더스 무대에서 국내 컨텐더스 코리아의 최고 팀이라고 자랑한 오토블래스트에서 또 활약을 잘 해주고 있는 모습을 기대해 주신 분들이 많기 때문에 이분들을 위해서 이 팬분들을 위해서.
So do you have? I mean, you've been in the league, you've had experience in the league. You're at O2 now, doing really great. Do you have any words to your fans that have been supporting you? I mean, thank you for all your support, high and low, and I'll definitely make sure that we can win against Infernal tomorrow.
네, 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Thank you, and back to you, Achilles.
이렇게 오토블래스트.
Thank you very much, Unknown, for the translation as per usual. But there we have it. Some nice, humble words from Marvel. Can't even think about another tank that he wants to square off against. He's just happy to be here.
Where were you when Marvel said "I am me"? You know, I really felt like I was me today playing that rematch. I feel that. I really felt that. It's the "I am me" for me, Achilles. That really did it. Marvel, what can you say? Understandably, humongous a performance, deserved player of the match, but the real test is tomorrow. I wholeheartedly agree. Infernal is the real test for this team. Likely the winner of Infernal versus O2 is going to be the team that makes it through the mid-season madness. But if there is a world where O2 keep this win streak going and they beat Infernal, you might literally see the O2 Blast, which is Shock's Academy team, go to mid-season madness.
Very well could happen. We'll have to wait until tomorrow to see those results. But of course, we're not done yet. We have one more matchup for you today. It's going to be SPG going up against none other than the Shanghai Dragons to see whether or not a Contenders team can go ahead and take down one of the big dogs in the Overwatch League. We'll see how Shanghai looks as well when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere. The action continues in just a bit.